The Director General of the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, Captain Mokhtar Usman, has been given a breakdown of industry activities in 2016, stating that Nigeria's bilateral air service agreement remained attractive despite the challenges facing the industry.
Nigeria's air transport industry retained its attractiveness because people are still asking for permission to come in. They are still asking to increase frequency, even though some have closed shop and some have reduced. Towards that end, we had increase in bilateral air service agreements. We currently have 88 bilateral air service agreements with 88 countries. And recently, the number increased by 2 to 90. That was in December.
The regulatory agency said 2016 was the third year Nigeria has not recorded any accident in civil aviation. The last air crash recorded in the country was on October 3, 2013, when the Associated Aviation Flight 361 on domestic charter flight from Lagos to Akure, Ondo State, crashed on takeoff. Still on the NCAA, this time the agency has fined First Nation Airlines the sum of 32 million naira over violation of safety regulations. The NCAA in a statement said the violation occurred during a ramp inspection on First Nation's Airbus A319 aircraft at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. It was discovered that the pilot in charge was not in personal possession of a current medical certificate, neither was it readily accessible. The regulatory body also fined the pilot 1.5 million naira. Meanwhile, First Nation Airline has expressed surprise over the fine meted to it. It said the statement was silent on the fact that the carrier had immediately filed an appeal against the sanctions in accordance with the Nigeria Civil Aviation Regulations. The airline said the captain of the flight inspected had a valid medical license and added that the situation should draw the NCAA's attention to the need to address the bureaucracy associated with a general license and medical renewal process with the authority. The airline said it admits no wrongdoing and despite this position considered the level of financial fine arbitrary and at variance with the levels set out in the relevant section of the Nigeria Civil Aviation Regulations. The essence of the Nigeria Civil Aviation Regulations is corrective rather than cause airline injury, and we will be working the appeal and review of the sanction with NCAA. On the foreign scene, Lufthansa Airbus A350s will be operated by pilots who also fly its A330s and A340-600s. The German airline received its first A330-900 in December 2016 and will start regular passenger flights with the twin jet on 10th February. These will be operated from Lufthansa's secondary base in Munich. Lufthansa has ordered a total of 25 A350s and decided to station the first 10 in Munich. The airline is scheduled to have 7 A350s by year end. They are replacing A340-600s. American Airlines has opened its first ticket office in Havana this February amidst growing tourist numbers to Cuba. America, the world's largest airline, currently offers 13 round trips to Cuba daily, connecting Miami to 5 Cuban cities. President Donald Trump has threatened to end the recent rapprochement between the United States and Cuba unless Havana was willing to make a better deal for the Cuban people, the Cuban American people, and the U.S. as a whole. The airline said it will continue to push ahead with its expansion plans in Cuba. The United States and Cuba began normalizing relations in December 2014 after 18 months of secret talks and have since restored full diplomatic ties. Finally, the world's longest commercial flight landed in New Zealand early in the week with the arrival of Qatar Airways' 14,535 kilometers Doha to Auckland service, 16 hours, 23 minutes flight. The long-range Boeing 777-200LR crossed 10 time zones on its marathon flight. There were 4 pilots on board as well as 15 cabin crew who served 1,100 cups of tea and coffee, 2,000 cold drinks and 1,036 meals during the flight. Air India's Delhi to San Francisco flight claims the world's longest by flying distance, but when measured on the surface of the earth, Doha and Auckland are further apart.
A helicopter is a type of rotorcraft in which lift and thrust are supplied by rotors. This allows the helicopter to take off and land vertically, to hover, and to fly forward, backward, and laterally. These attributes allow helicopters to be used in congested or isolated areas where fixed-wing aircraft cannot perform. Since helicopters can get to the hard-to-reach places, Chile has welcomed the world's largest firefighting helicopter to help it as the country reels from the worst of wildfires in its modern history, which are ravaging wide swathes of the country's central-south regions. The Sikorsky S-64 Sky Crane, an American twin-engine heavy-lift helicopter, flew into capital Santiago from Peru. Chile's National Forestry Corporation instructed Ecocopter, a Chilean helicopter operator, to bring and operate the impressive helicopter to battle the wildfires, especially in the hard-to-hit Biobío region. It is the civil version of the United States Army's CH-54 Taki. The S-64 air crane is the current production version, manufactured by the Ericsson Air Crane Company. Originally, a Sikorsky aircraft product, the type certificate and manufacturing rights were purchased from them by Ericsson Air Crane in 1992. Since that time, Ericsson Air Crane has become the manufacturer and world's largest operator of S-64 air cranes and has made over 1,350 changes to the airframe, instrumentation and payload capabilities of the helicopter. The air crane can be fitted with a 10,000-litre fixed retardant tank to assist in the control of bush fires, and it has proved itself admirably in this role. Like the S-60 before it, the main feature of the S-64 Sky Crane is its basic configuration with no cabin, just a simple stick fuselage designed to carry cargo externally. There are 2 Pratt & Whitney turbine engines used with a new dynamic system, a tricycle landing gear with a nose wheel and main landing gear configuration. A tail skid was included to protect the tail in an extreme nose-up landing, and the cockpit is sized to carry a crew of 5, the pilot, co-pilot, AFT-facing pilot and 2 mechanics. Since the aircraft was designed to operate for extended periods in remote areas, it was decided to include space for the 2 mechanics on board the aircraft. While the helicopter will be in Chile for 90 days, pilots will fly the helicopters for 8 hours per day to combat the fires. The aircraft, which is known in the world of aviation as Elvis, was used to battle the 2002 wildfires in Australia. It helped to save numerous lives of firefighters who were trapped by the flames.
this is our final destination on this edition. And from the team here, it's many thanks for watching. I'm Bukola Joe Oketumbi.